So yeah, I had a pretty disappointing Father's Day, frankly, and was actually pretty much, well, very much looking forward to going to see Roger Daltrey with my dad today, but that's not happening now. And I'm trying to get the tickets refunded, but I don't know if like that'll happen with the terms and conditions of bloody insurance contract that I did take out for those tickets, which cost me like 118 quid of money that I really ought not be spending on the likes of him, considering everything he's done in the past, the repeated threats or successful attempts to get me sectioned under the Mental Health Act for speaking out against his girlfriend's crimes and his crimes against me. I've got an audio recording, frankly, of him being incredibly drunk and abusive towards me, physically assaulting me, which he has done on a number of occasions. Wiltshire police also know about this. They know that he's attacked me with a wine bottle at one point, and that was covered up. He slammed my head into a wall. They didn't pursue any action when that happened. And all this comes down to the fact, or like the ostensible fact of my mental health, or the ostensible facts of my mental health. All comes down to, oh, you suffer from a psychotic illness, hence nothing you say is admissible in court. I was like, wow, isn't that just a little bit convenient? And like, why would someone want to, assert someone's lack of mental competence for any reason? Could it connect to inheritance? Could it connect to this stupid development land that's, worth tens of millions of pounds for us if we get 10% of it, hypothetically, which we might not even, I don't know. And all this stuff, yeah, it causes a huge amount of stress, obviously. And like when he pops his clogs, which given the amount he drinks and smokes, I would have said it's about a decade off. Maybe longer, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, that's probably a good time frame in which to be dealing with it. And then kind of like obviously her scratching around for whatever the hell she can get her filthy mitts on. Do I want to deal with that? Like, I don't know. And then there's the issue of my sister. Like, if I leave the fray and put my hands up, say I'm just not interested anymore in you, your farm, or protecting your stupid legacy, or whatever it is, then she's on her own, isn't she, dealing with all that? And she's got to, contend with Nicola and the rest of them, and Nikki's son, who, they're lining up. And with these sorts of money, like, you don't think people try to kill people over development land, 100 acres, point of sale, it's worth £500 million. 10% of that, 50 million before tax. Still, like 28 or 29 million, is it, after capital gains? People kill people over that sort of money? Hell yeah, they do. That's just the truth. I mean, you think of like mob development projects in sort of, I don't know, Boston or wherever, or like New Jersey. I just think of that sort of thing. Like, loads of mobsters in the States, they're all bound up in like developers and, with developers and with big property projects, housing projects, industrial complexes, entertainment venues, famous casinos, famously, and hotels. And, that mob money goes into, building projects very often. And yeah, this is like, I don't know the extent of it even. I don't know how far it reaches. I don't know how many parties are really involved in it. But is this paranoid? I don't think it's paranoid, is it, as such? Suspecting that someone might be, out for this incredibly valuable, in monetary terms, bit of property. And the farm is very valuable anyway. It's, it's got a solar farm, which is a consistent form of hands-free, hands-off revenue. That's a not a trickle, but a pretty sizable stream of money flowing in, 70 grand a year or so before tax. Then the livery yard does fairly well. The haymaking is not a bad element to the business, and the rental income. It all stacks up to like quite a nice little pile of cash, and then subsidies. And it's like Nicola after that alone, like, I doubt she's got any interest really in that. But that, like, also, is not such a bad little earner for her and her son. And we've now gone through like this thing with my grandfather's former wife, or we're going through this thing on my mother's side of the family is, and my mum and her brothers are, with my grandfather and his now deceased second wife, Norma, and all that rubbish. And they're just basically spitting on his memory and his legacy, and his dying wishes and his last will and testament, wherein he said he wanted that estate split 5 ways between the 5 children. And now they're trying to ring fence the property in Greece so they can get just more, And like this business of inheritance and scumbaggery, like, I do frankly more important things with my time than things I consider far more important and far more worthy of my time than worrying about this sort of rubbish. And like, maybe if my father wants to behave the way he has behaved in the past, like, why do I owe him anything? Like, what? You look, the way you talk to me, like, you're talking to the person who's going to put you in the ground. He's going to bury you. He's going to, like, hold your legacy. And, you just, like, cast me off like that. You're mad, you're mad, you're mad. Like, well, you're a gullible idiot if you think I'm mad. And, like, I discriminate against the mentally ill. It's like, oh, what about your friends, so-called Paul Ham, Digby Hawkins, and Rob George, all of whom committed suicide? You think they're not under a bit of stress about money and inheritance, possibly, or business worries, or whatnot? Or do you not give a fuck about them, or were they just mad and mentally ill and distressed and under stress? It all sort of bundles into the same fucking thing. A little bit disrespectful, isn't it? A bit shameful. No? I see the like connections between your girlfriend, Nikki Lewis, the NHS, local government, police. And it's like, and there's also an issue, like, she is not that bright either. I know what she's after, but the thing is, like, it's not, Grandad Peter's estate, not this. No, this is rather a different kettle of fish. And if she's thinking, like, oh, I can take this, like, maybe you're trying to take Ukraine, you know what I mean? You're going for the gold mine, aren't you? The natural resources and the grain and all that stuff, like Stalin did with Holodomor, and like frankly Putin's doing now, basically. And it's like, yeah, maybe you can take it even. Can you hold it, though? I mean, Stalin did manage to hold it. And the Soviet Union did, hold Ukraine. But not indefinitely, they didn't. And, it was still a Soviet Socialist Republic. But, I don't know. This wasn't not quite like that. It's a somewhat poor analogy. Like, there's no sort of World War II going on, not in this context. So it doesn't leave Eastern Europe crippled enough by Nazi invasions to allow a geopolitical climate in which the annexation of Eastern Europe entire up to the middle of Germany is feasible in this instance. So yeah, this is much more like Putin in Ukraine currently, I think, and yeah, it's. I don't think you're going to hold it. I don't. There's too many interest. There'd be too many interested parties, too many people who will make your life difficult for trying to take that sort of thing. Yeah, you're going for the golden ring. I think that's like the Taoist I Ching metaphor, isn't it? You're going for like this big prize, or like the gold at the end of a rainbow, you know, and you'll never get there because you know, it was like the leprechauns, like, yeah, they're there to make fun of you for trying to get the gold at the end of the rainbow. It's like, you get to see a rainbow, you silly lad. Isn't that beautiful enough? Or whatever, you know. Like the charming, folksy Irish metaphor is, that underpins that. A little bit of mythology. But yeah, like this scrabbling after money. It's tempting just to throw in the towel and be like, get on with it then. But then, sister to think of, or maybe she's not interested even. And it's like, well, you can have fun with the farm then if you like. Sell it. Well, she'd sell it instantly, wouldn't she? If you ever turned it over to her, that's exactly what she'd do. She'd just sell it. She has no interest in like living there, I don't think. And yeah, and she'd be able to. And I just would hope that some people would be able to see how dishonest that is, and would frankly give her the miseries in her life that she frankly deserves as a result of all this. You know, the corruption, the slanders, the destroying of evidence, and the perjury, and conspiring to pervert the course of justice, and very likely the attempts to kill people, I think. Yeah. And she can be brought to justice. One would hope that it would be possible, feasible. It's only possible, I think. I mean, you don't MI5 and GCHQ watch people like this, you know, and is there not a government agency or something like serious crimes agency, is it? Or, which I've also reported her to, and the serious fraud office, is it not? Among like every other government department I can think of, like Independent Police Complaints Commission, CQC, various police forces, Information Commissioner's Office, the General Medical Council for dealing with corrupt charlatan psychiatrists who shouldn't be operating in medicine if they can't give the DSM-5 definition of terms like delusion, yet will happily diagnose deluded thinking irrespective of that lack of knowledge, or that apparent lack of knowledge. It says, oh, a delusion's just something not everyone believes. Like, no, something that not everyone believes is usually called heresy. Everyone believes in Alex reptilians, yet it's we're allowed to believe that because it's a political belief. Bye everyone, love you lots, bye.